Alright, I am super excited to film this. This is going to be a full video that will help anyone, whether you're a high-tech closer and you don't know what to do, and whether you want to start a business, or whether you're an agency owner, or whether you're already a coach, at whatever you are, whoever you are. This is going to be valuable. It's going to show you exactly how we make $50,000 per month. Keep in mind that I'm from South Africa. I was not given the best hands in life. And just a few years ago, I was homeless, essentially, and I had to live with my uncle. So with that all contextually put into place, keep in mind, I'm only 25. Last year, at the age of 24, I sold another company using this exact same method. So this is repeatable. This is repeatable for anyone. It doesn't matter who you are, what skills you have. This is going to be repeatable. And what I'm going to show you is exactly if you're in a position, or whoever you are, I'm going to show you how to pick an offer. I'm going to show you how to pick a niche and how to scale in that niche and that offer. Trust me, it's going to be valuable. Even if you think that you know what you want to offer, I'm going to give you some context. And then I'm going to show you lead generation and how we generate all of the leads that we do so that you can just go ahead and apply this video. Most people would charge thousands of dollars for this. And generally, this is something I would only give to my mentorship students. But I wanted to give as much free value as possible. And the benefit here for my students is that they get access to all of these documents. So with that being said, I kind of want to jump into it. Here is screenshot proof of us making $50,000, by the way. Most people won't show screenshots because they don't have them, but just to give you context that this is real, here's a screen recording of me refreshing my screen in Stripe. And it was $40,000, and then the other amount was actually bank transfers, as you can see over here. So actually it's closer to 60,000, but I wanted to round down and make it 50,000. So you can see 41,000 in the month of October. As of the time filming, this is the 5th of November. So it is last month. And yeah, you can see the dates on these: 31st of October, 17 October, 14 October. So with that being said, let me show you exactly how you know where you need to focus your attention, right? So first things first is you need to have a foundation in place. You need to understand whether you want to do consulting or a done-for-you offer. And the difference here is that a done-for-you, so done-for-you versus a done with you. Now, the difference here is that the done-for-you offer is where you deliver the services, right? Which means that, let's just say you're running ads, you're the one who goes and creates the ads, creates the assets, and fulfills the service. So it is a little bit more hefty. You usually need a team in place. This takes a lot more time and a lot more resources, and this costs you. Whereas the done with you is a preferred model lately because it allows you to just advise on the deliverables. It doesn't mean that you actually have to deliver on it. So this is like mentorships. This is courses. This is essentially consulting. So where you just come in and tell companies what to do, but you don't actually deliver it. That's the difference. Now, you need to know the difference, and you need to understand what exactly you want to offer. So keep in mind, I'll run through this and I'll go into details about how to pick that. So this is really going to be a valuable video. I'm kind of giving away too much, but I don't mind that. So first things first is the offer. If you are doing a done for you or done with you, you need to make that decision. Then you need to understand how you're actually going to acquire and convert potential leads. So let's just say that you decide that you want to offer paid advertising and you want to sell that to roofers. Then you know your offer, you know your niche, you know the model. But now you need to know, how am I actually going to acquire those roofers, and how am I going to make sure that I can convert them and get sales from them? Then once you start doing that, you need to now know how to do a sales process and how to set consistent calls as well. So you can see some of the frameworks and some of the things that we have in place. We're really detailed with the amount of data that we have and what leverages we pull. And then aside from that, you need to have leverage, which means that, hey, if you are running a company at a certain point, you need to hire a growth specialist. You need to hire someone who knows how to run ads. And so this is all high level, but for now, let's just dumb it down and let's make it simple. So to figure out your offer is the single most important thing you're going to do. To get us to $50,000, I had to change the entire landscape of the agency. If you go look at the previous videos that I did, we had a completely different market and it capped us at about $20,000 per month. As soon as we made this simple change that I'm going to share with you, we immediately got to $50,000 per month. So here's what that change was. Before we made the change, we were doing a done for you and a done with you. We were doing email marketing. We were targeting South African brands, so local brands, which is Fine, there's nothing wrong with that. The issue though was our pricing. We were only charging $2,000 to $2,600 per month. And the issue with this is that we were attracting the wrong clients. So we were attracting wrong clients, low quality clients, and not as profitable, right? So all of the above really put us in unfavorable conditions, to be honest. And that capped us. So we were only able to do $20,000 per month because if you think about it, we were capped at about 10 clients. Whereas now, what we made a shift of is we're still doing email marketing, but we're only doing done for you. And this is completely up to you. By the way, this does not matter. It doesn't matter whether you done with you or done for you. But the difference now is that we increased our prices. This is the single best thing that we did. And one of the options we gave is $10,500 upfront as an option. And if you go back to our notifications, that was a big lift in revenue from one of the clients. So you can see this is one of the screenshots that we got. So the difference here is that we're now upping our prices. We're attracting higher quality clients, and now we're facing the USA, which technically has a lot more competition and it is more expensive, but we're willing to pay the price because of the kind of outcome that we get. And I'll show you this later on, but you can see the exact spend versus the return just last month, not including our recurring client services. So essentially, this is how you can figure out your offer. You can either do a done for you, which, you can do kind of like 5K to 15K per month, but it is complex because you're in the weeds doing the work, and there is sometimes low scalability, but that is not always the case. Then done with you. So you could do this where you kind of guide and they implement. This is kind of medium complexity and scalability. You can add leverage, and this is way easier to deliver on. But obviously, it's dependent on what kind of coaching system you use. So for this, it's easy for an agency model to do a done for you. Done with you is a coaching or mentorship model. And then the same for one-on-one coaching. This is great because it's low complexity and incredible scalability. And then the highest complexity or the highest scalability is group coaching, which means that you have a preset course and then you go and put them in. So this is what a lot of people do. And if you're a high ticket closer, you're going to be very familiar with this because you're either closing deals for people that do this, or you probably came because you heard of Shelby Saps. And Shelby Saps, the issue here, or the difference here, and I've mentioned it a lot in my Instagram, is that she is saying that she made all her money from high ticket sales. But if you're a high ticket salesperson, you know that is absolutely not true. What is actually happening is she is doing coaching. And so that's why it is one of the best methods, is because you can really leverage it. You can sell coaching, you can sell group coaching. Even if you think that you don't have something to sell, trust me, you probably do. So you can really make this money from any kind of offer. In my way, I did done for you. And that's not usually advisable, but because I run an agency. I've also done the same thing for a coaching offer, which also does multiple six figures. And the way that I do it is I do one-on-one. So I opted in for the one-on-one. I want it to be personal. My students get incredible experiences, so I have really good experiences from that. I feel fulfilled. They have great experience. So for me, this is the best one. And yeah, it's not the cheapest, but the kind of outcome that people get from that is the most fulfilling, and they can replicate exactly what I teach them. So for example, I go way more in depth on this stuff with them one-on-one and cater it to their existing problems. So that's why this one is also a really great model. Otherwise, this is my second favorite. But all of these work, you just need to pick which one you want to go with. Now, to give you a visual idea of all of this, right? Here is kind of a pyramid of how you can get to where you want to go. So done for you services, it's super easy to get to 10K per month. So you're essentially like an implementation expert, and getting to 10K per month is super easy. Then you can do kind of a done with you plus coaching, which gets you to 25K per month very easily as well. And then you can obviously scale up. So as you go up the pyramid, the least amount of output that you put in is actually the most amount of revenue that you can make. Hopefully that makes sense. But to give you another visual idea, here is essentially the profitability versus the complexity. So done for you can sometimes not be the most profitable because you have to hire a team. In our case, it's very profitable because we have a lean team and we do incredibly well with dialing in. But the ones that you really want to go for are up here, like a done with you, some kind of coaching offer, some kind of done with you or done for you. That's where you really want to be sitting. And so this is kind of the 4 foundations of scaling. And you can just pause this, pay attention to it. But essentially, you need to focus on what you want to sell, how you want to sell it, how you acquire customers to sell that to, and how you deliver. So these are the 4 circles that you really need to pay attention to, and things that I coach my students on in great detail, because these are all important. Yes, as you start to acquire clients, which you definitely will if you watch the end of this video, that's not going to be the main focus anymore. That's not going to become the main priority or the issue. The issue is going to become, okay, now that I've got clients, how am I delivering the service, right? So how are you going to deliver that service? That is going to be your next problem that you face. But for right now, let's talk about the profile authority and how you're actually going to get clients. Now, we implemented something super simple that changed the game for us. Again, we switched over from making it a South African focus. We switched to US, and then we set up another profile. This profile is super simple. It looks like an actual person, which I recommend. So for example, it can be your name and the thing that you're delivering on. In my case, it's email marketing. So I said Jade Email or Jade Emails or whatever it is. And you can see that is consistent on both the YouTube and the Instagram. Now, the next thing that you want to do is just think about what you would make your profile and how you want to position yourself. So pause this video and make a note of what exactly you want to offer. Is it done for you? Is it done with you? What service is it? Is it email marketing? Is it advertising? Is it helping women get the perfect body in 90 days? Whatever it is, right? So for example, when you're thinking about your offer, think about what exactly am I doing for the other person, right? So it can be email marketing, it can be advertising, or you can get a little bit more granular, and if you're offering to actual customers or people, then maybe you do a gym coaching offer or a weight loss offer. Or maybe you teach people gardening. Whatever it is that you want to offer, think about it, and then make sure that you're dynamically creating your entire profile around it. This is going to be incredibly important. This is the number one thing that has generated all of our money, and I can guarantee you that without fail. Even though we don't have that many followers, and although we don't have that many views on the videos, what this does is it acts as an authority. So what you're going to get to is you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, yes, I've now chosen my offer, but how am I going to convince people to pay me to teach them that thing or do that thing for them? So say you're running ads. How are people going to trust you if you've never run ads before, if you don't have a portfolio? Or let's say you do have a portfolio, you're still not sure about that. How am I going to convince people? You should not have to convince anyone. The same as if you're doing group coaching to women or you're teaching women how to do weight loss. The best way to showcase that you know what you're talking about is to create a profile around authority. And the way that we do this is we create videos that talk about their things or the topics that are most important to them. So for our case, it's technical things. It's how to do XYZ. It's how to do this. It's how to do that. And then we also incorporate case studies in between there. So you can see that these are all case studies. So that's a case study, that's a case study, this is a case study. So we have quite a few case studies in between here. Another case study over here. We have so many case studies that it builds authority. So when someone is considering our service, they're going to see that we have an authority. And although we don't have tons of followers, we're very vocal about the kind of results that we've gotten. So this does incredibly well to where we have a value post, then we have a case study post, and then another value post, another value post. And the point of the value post is that it builds authority. So think about your offer. What do people that need weight loss actually need? You should be doing free videos on the best diets that they should be following, the best meal plans that they should be following, the best exercises they should be doing for weight loss. Those are the things you could be focusing on. Then in between there, you can use your own personal story. You can say how Jenna lost her, 10 pounds in the span of 3 months or whatever it is. Or if you're doing advertising, you can say how this brand scaled to XYZ amount, or how we scaled this brand. So here is where you want to keep everything. This is going to be your portfolio, is your YouTube channel, and you want to do some value videos, especially because over time, these views are going to compound. Although this is only 100 views, that's 100 views of people that are most likely to book in a call with us and see that we are good at what we do. Then you get to the bottom and you can see some of our videos actually got like 1,100 views. And this still books us tons of calls right now and will continue to. So all of this is going to compound. These are not just 100 views per video. This means that over time, we have essentially got a collective of, let's just say we get, 300 views per video. We got 300 times 27 views. So it puts us in a really good authority place. Then we did a similar thing with our Instagram. What we did is we wanted to set up a great profile to where we set up some case studies. Again, this is a case study. And then we set up some value videos. So what we do is we kind of do alternating. We do case study, value video, case study, value video, case study, value video. You can see that right here. Then we set up a one-time pin post showing exactly our strategy of how we got $1 million from email marketing. In your case, you can use your best case study. How Jenna lost, 27 pounds in the span of 3 weeks. Or how this brand scaled to $1 million with our advertising strategy. It's just a free value video. Now, the reason why this is so important is because this is our ad creative. So we launched this, which is just a free value video, and it shows exactly how we scaled this brand to $1 million in email marketing and showed them the exact strategy that they can copy paste. It's only a minute long. But the point is that we use this to generate leads, and I'm going to show you how. But trust me, what you want to do as your action step is you want to figure out your offer. You want to figure out who you're offering to. All right. So who? And then you want to make sure that you are then taking this over and you're building a profile around it. Once you have your profile, the whole point of this is you're setting authority, right? So authority is the most important thing that you want to set up with this whole profile. Then what you're going to go ahead and do is you want to generate some leads. And now you know exactly who you're selling to, what you're offering. And so you're going to set up your ads. Now, to give you an idea of what our ads look like, they're expensive because we switched to USA. When we were running to South Africa, it was way cheaper. We were getting about, $17 booked calls. But we sacrificed that to make sure that we could actually scale. And what you need to keep in mind is you need to be willing to spend on a book call whatever you get paid as your first month's retainer. So let me repeat that. What we spend and what our cost per call is, we decide what we're willing to spend to acquire a lead or acquire a booked call, depending on how much we're actually going to close for. So if you take a look at our numbers over here, you can see that we booked, we booked 5 demo calls and we closed about 3 clients from these 5, which means that we have about a 40%, let's just say 47% close rate. Okay, that's a great close rate. It's actually more than that. Let's just say 67% close rate. And so the reason why this is important is because you have to be willing to know what you have to spend to acquire booked calls, and then what will those booked calls actually equate to. And what I mean by that is you need to take a look at your numbers. What am I willing to spend to acquire a client? In our case, we are charging $4,000 per month minimum for a client to join us, right? And that's going to be on a monthly basis. So if that is our minimum that we are getting from a client, then you should be willing to spend at least half of that to acquire a client so you can get a 2x ROI, right? So $2K per book call minimum. So essentially, you want to calculate whatever, and this might seem daunting, by the way, but this is going to unlock your scalability. And so many people don't talk about this. Everyone is talking about, hey, well, you should be booking calls at $53 per book call. We don't care about that. What we're actually doing is we don't mind spending this kind of money to book in only 5 calls, because we can guarantee that 3 of the 5, or let's just say 3 of the 6, we have a 50% close rate. Let's just say that. We have a 50% close rate. All right. If we know that half of the calls that we book in are going to close, then of course we're going to be willing to spend as much money as we need to, because we know that for every single booked call, we're making back 2K minimum. So we're taking this versus the cost that it's getting to acquire them. We don't mind operating at a loss because they're going to become a repeat customer. And usually it's not a loss because they pay us way more than we cost to acquire them. So hopefully that makes sense. It's very high level, but it is something that you need to think about. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're acquiring these leads and we're converting them. But you need to find winning ads first. And the way that you're going to find a winning ad is by doing these few things. You want to test a bunch. You want to test about, let's just say 5 different hooks, right? So you want to think about 5 different hooks, and this is really what changed the game for us. Test 5 different hooks. And the difference here is like, okay, let's think about this. Call out, in your first hook, you want to call out a pain point. Your second hook, you want to call out who they are. And I'll explain this in more detail. Then, for example, you want to call out a solution. Call out. Okay, and so, for example, what this would look like is if you're calling out a pain point, you're essentially going to say, hey, are you struggling with ad costs at the moment? That shouldn't be a problem anymore. So I'm immediately paying attention because I'm like, wait, yes, that is exactly me. I am struggling with ad costs. Or let's say that you're running, I don't know, you're running coaching. Let's just say that you want to call out a pain point and you do weight loss. So you're going to say, are you struggling to lose weight even though you've tried every exercise? That's a hook. So that's your first hook that you want to try. And then essentially what is going to happen is you want to lead all of these hooks into the same body. So you're going to do the exact same body. And I have a template that I give my students that helps you write this. So I won't go over this right now just because it will take a bit of time. But essentially when you're writing an ad, you want to go over a few things. Number one, you want to do a hook. Obviously, that's what we're going over. The second thing is you want to talk to your ICP, so your ideal customer profile. So if you're doing weight loss for women in their 50s, blah, 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 you want to call that out. And then you also want to make sure that you are speaking to some case studies. So this is where you'll mention your testimonial and you'll walk through a few things. But either way, the body remains the same. The only thing that changes is the hooks. And the reason for that is because you're going to see that the hook is what keeps people watching, and you're going to figure out, okay, this hook works best. Now I know exactly what ad is the best performing, and I can apply this to other industries or other markets. So you can do a US market. Then you can go and figure out whether UK works. But the only way to do it is to first test your creative hooks. You need to do 5 ads minimum. Just set up a phone recording and record your ad. You can see that from this profile, this is our best performing ad. And it's so simple. It's just like a Miro board screen recording that we filmed and then we edited on Veed. Super simple. But the way that you want to run your ads is you want to do a few different angles. And you just want to recreate your hook. So think about your ideal customer. The only way that this is going to work is you want to make sure that you're thinking about your customer and what they need and what your solution is. That's how this is going to work. So you need to think about that first. You need to have an answer, and I recommend that you make notes and pause this video, make notes, figure out what that is, and come back to this. So first thing, call out a pain point. If you are doing, I don't know, weight loss again as a decent, or let's just say that you offer cooking classes, then what you want to do is you want to say, hey, are you tired of creating meals or coming up with ideas every single day and they're not even healthy meals? Or hey, are you tired of not being able to lose weight even though you've tried everything? Hey, are you tired of running ads at an incredibly expensive price? So you're calling out their pain point first. Then you run into the body of, so if you're actually looking for an agency, or if you're an e-commerce brand and you are facing this exact struggle, here's how to solve it. So you really want to make a value-based video where you call out the pain point, then you want to call out who they are in the next video. So this is now a second video with the same body copy. The second one is you want to call out who they are. So let's just say that you're doing weight loss to 40-year-olds. Instead of leading by the pain point, you're going to say, hey, if you're a 40-year-old woman and you're looking to lose weight, or if you're a e-commerce brand and you're looking to scale your revenue with advertising. So you just want to call them out specifically in this one. And then you also want to call out a solution. So there's going to be, hey, this is how you're going to solve your expensive ads right now. And you want to lead with a few different options, and then you want to test some different hooks as well. So you can lead with authority, or you can lead with a few others. And essentially what's going to happen is you're going to test all of these. You're going to film 5 videos as of today, and you're going to launch them. And the way that you're going to launch them is you're going to put 5 of them into a broad set. So the broad set means that you are advertising to everyone in a specific location with no targeting. You're not choosing interests, you're not choosing anything like that. The only thing you're choosing is broad and maybe a demographic. So if you know that you're selling to women, you're obviously just going to choose the female audience or male. So that's essentially what we do over here is we do the broad test. Then we do a very specific test. And this is with some leads that we've generated. We upload the list or we choose interests. All right. So this is where you'll choose their interests. Now you can choose which one, but either way, put in 5 different ones into both of these, and you can see we're running tests on both and we are getting results from both. Then what's going to happen is you're going to see which ads are performing the best, which hook performs the best, and then you're going to kill the rest. So let's say that the pain point one performs the absolute best. You're going to kill the other ones. You're going to pause the advertising there, and you're going to reallocate the budget to this one. So it's a simple process. I know that it seems complicated, but essentially all you need is you need to figure out your offer, number one. Number two, you need to figure out who you're selling to and at what price points. Then you need to go and build a profile around that specific thing. So you need to create some posts. You need to go and think of video ideas, and you need to film those. You need at least 9 on either page. Then once you have that, you want to start running your ads. Don't run your ads until you have a profile set up. Otherwise, it's going to be a big fat waste of time. Do not do that. You want to make sure that you are running ads and that you are leading them to a well-optimized profile. Again, otherwise it's going to be a big fat waste of time. Then you want to focus on leads and acquisition. So you either are going to get leads naturally and organically from this, which is great, or you can have a leverage or a lever that you can pull that is reliable. So for us, we know that for every $5,000 that we spend, we're getting about $16,000 back, which means that we're about $11,000 in profit every single time that we spend, minimum. So we're getting about a 2x ROI. So if we spent 50,000, we'd probably reach 100K. And so we know the maths on that because we've tracked it. So the main thing that you need to know is exactly who you're selling to, what your offer is, and how expensive your offer is. Then you want to set up your profile, and then you want to track everything. So that's a simple, it sounds complicated, but again, a simple process on how we scale to $50,000 per month and how you can as well with any offer. You just need to be very clear on what you're offering and who you're offering it to. Then you need to be very clear on your profile authority. So you need to film authority content, value content, etc., etc. And it doesn't matter whether it goes viral or not. Even if it gets 2 views, it doesn't matter. The point is that once you start running ads as step number 3, you have a reliable lever to pull that actually performs because they're being led to an optimized profile and you seem like you know what you're talking about. So they're more likely to book in a call with you. Plus, make sure that it is coming from a personal profile. Do not set up a business profile only. You should have both, but a personal profile that is very well orchestrated within that niche and is very niche focused will perform any day of the week. So hopefully that makes sense. But again, revisit this as well. Make sure you got your model and your offer. Then you can acquire customers. Then you can focus on sales and leverage, which I'll focus on in another video. But hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that's helpful on how you can scale and how we scale to $50,000 per month in the span of, by the way, 6 months of having the company. Now, if you are looking for assistance and you don't want to figure this out on your own, I do one-on-one mentorship. You can book in a call below, but I warn you, it is not the cheapest, but it is absolutely the best on the market, especially if you're a female. So go down below, book that in, and if you are, just consuming, I hope you enjoy, watch my other videos.